Checking. It's it seems to be working. I got a little yellow. It looks yellow. I got a yellow stream color. Maybe that'll improve over time. It's definitely possible, right? Let's just say what's up. Seems like things are working. What's up? I'm typing to myself. I'm typing to myself in my own live chat. Not much. Just doing a live show. See, it's confusing. I don't know what to do about this. When you have a live thing, it tends to really only work live. Every time I'm watching something that like aired live, I'm always like, stop catering to those people in the chat and all that live stuff because I'm not watching it live. So, right, makes me feel like you don't care about me. But that's the funny thing about doing a live show is that you can talk to Eric Elliott and Sweet Jenna and be like, "What's up?" You appear, at least from my end, to be real people that I continue to interact with. I mean, fascinating, just, full stop there. End of story. If you see what I'm saying. What is happening? I am here in the country of Germany and just grinding my eyeballs out with my regular day life. It's I don't want to say soul crushing because it's all very good stuff. It's all very exciting. But, right, every day that I haven't gotten on here, I've sort of wondered, I think about it every day. That's just the thing, what's going on with these people, with Eric Elliott and Sweet Jenna, like they're just going through their lives, maybe we could hang out sometime, but then I have to get back into reality and that's just, I don't know, the nature of at least my personal reality. I've been slammed against the wall I guess many times, and I think that's a big part of our culture and training to keep you distracted and limit things like this where it's just kind of random navel gazing. They'd rather have you slammed to the wall where you have 1,000 notifications and a bunch of emails to answer and maybe 3 or 4 places to be at the same time. That way you're not really questioning any sort of, right, you're just trying to complete the tasks. You're going from one quick event to the next, and that's right, that's the best you can do, really, depending on how busy you are. And I'd say that that's it's not just my story. It's the story of a lot of people these days. It's like nobody feels like they have any time left to do anything. They're just picking up on the tasks, trying to just get that list of things done. I mean, I'm sitting here staring at sort of a wall of Post-its that I've created, just to sort of step out of the digital realm and critical things that I really have to get done, like that day or something. And it's full. It's a bunch of stuff, and it's a bunch of stuff I didn't do. And here we are, at least at the end of my day, and I didn't do all this stuff, and so I get to go to bed feeling sort of guilty and I'll wrestle myself awake early as I can tomorrow and keep pushing through these tasks. But I think, yeah, what's up, Skywatcher Sandra? I appreciate hugs and blessings. It's good to, have good energy flowing out there. Um, I mean, just the reason why I get into this is, well, I think if I notice things in myself, sorry, I got a little frog going on here. If I notice or feel things or experience things myself, there's a really good chance that other people out there in the universe, in this strange world, are experiencing it as well, and that it's not just sort of a one-off experience that I'm having, but actually sort of a global or sort of cross-person trend that is happening, right? So I don't think anybody out there is gonna be like, oh no, none of my friends are too busy to hang out anymore, and so just sort of staring at their phones. Maybe like 3 or 4 of my friends do that, but the rest of them are out in the park, just like doing a barbecue or playing games, or get some volleyball. I don't. They're not doing that, are they? Yeah, and I guess it really does depend on the type of person you are, what you're trying to get out of life, what your goals are. Maybe I'm just trying to hustle too hard, but at the same time, it seems like that's the way the system has been set up, and it's only heading in that same direction. That, right, fill your day with just some really, just tasks. You gotta answer that email. You gotta write that person back. You gotta reach out to that thing, and I don't know, maybe send some more emails, do some other regular work, and then maybe make yourself some lunch and do the laundry, and then maybe take care of this other thing, and right. But none of that really seems to be. That's mundane, regular day stuff, and that's what you need to like get through the day. It's always sort of these ultra pressing things, but yeah, totally get 888. We gotta unplug. And it's funny, conversely, even though this is live on YouTube and I'm still looking at my computers, this is, I'm realizing, sort of my way of unplugging myself out of my tasks, because right, everybody's got tasks, but if you get stuck in that loop too long, even if they're fun tasks, then your brain is going to start to melt, like a little bit or a lot of it, because, well, like I'm sitting here right now, like there's a couple people, you guys are out there listening, and I'm trying to like form some thoughts and say some words that may or may not be interesting to you, and trying to just sort of figure out, just in the moment, like what is going on, right? And then, while at the same time also like feeling for you and your broken baby toe, Sweeta, because I totally did that once. I think somebody stepped on my toe and it broke, and right, that's the thing about toes, you can't fix them, you have to just like let them sit there, and they just kind of like never go away. I don't know, my big toe always still hurts in the rain and other things like so. It's that combination of trying to break out of my mold and cycles, and therefore, just by you guys listening, maybe that'll sort of jostle you out of your own cycles. And right there's an interesting synchronicity that the Jet 88 also broke their baby toe a week ago. It's seems like that would be really frustrating. And that's the other thing that I sort of have been noticing, that is maybe just keeps pulling me back into this mode of thinking, because true to sort of what I guess I said in the last time around, that I've been trying to keep these sort of subversive, strange thoughts to myself out in the real world, because honestly, it just makes people uncomfortable, especially in any sort of professional setting, it's just not ideal. You don't want to be making people feel uncomfortable, and for any reason, right? You don't want to advance on them sexually in some strange way, and and I guess much the same, people feel hassled when you question their worldview, when you really bring stuff up and they're looking at you like, you don't really think the earth is flat, right? And that question in their mind never goes away once they've had it about you, right? And so I've sort of kept it packaged away, but then, right, that's the trouble. That's why I'm back on here now, is that it doesn't go away. In your mind or in theirs, that, well, there's still some questions there, right? What is actually going on? Because it's definitely not like what's on being pushed out there. And all you have to do is like go out into reality and look at some stuff critically to realize, like, well, I'm confused. Like, a bunch of these things don't make sense, and I don't know, does that explain that this is a simulation or some sort of other alternate form of reality? Does the fact that I just perpetually am staring down the barrel of repeating numbers at any sort of battery or timepiece, or it doesn't really matter what I'm looking at. It just seems that those repeating numbers line up, and they just, for me personally at this point, it's absurd. It's sort of like laughable how driven this world is from the base level by something way stranger than I think has even been discussed on even some fringiest YouTube channels. I was actually watching what was his name? Quantum of Conscious, really good stuff that he puts out. And he was talking about this issue with the encoding of the numbers and the fact that, right, basically at the level that it's at the promiscuity of these numbers, right, to just find their way into every single news article, every single major event, and all the way from those big headline news stories all the way down to your personal little story, to your personal little things that happen to you, right? And maybe it's me just reflecting again, but it almost seems like the clock itself is reaching out as some sort of moral compass and speaks to you in a language that you understand. If you're so willing to accept that, right, mainstream, generally assumed, utterly insane idea that clocks and numbers would actually be passing you any sort of moral conscious information other than the time or the amount of battery that you have. But I don't know, from my own personal albeit anecdotal experience, that seems to be the case. And right, if you really let that sink in for a second, the implications are like mind-boggling. And I don't know, I see this about a lot of things. I see this about this small cell tower, right? There honestly isn't even we're just starting the faintest of whispers in the mainstream about 5G coming to your devices, the problems that are probably going to come about with that transition to that technology and how they write all the chipsets, but they're just starting to put in ultra-wideband stuff into the actual devices. It's right just on the very, very cutting edge. But again, from my experience and my own personal observations, these towers are up all over this city, and right, if we do our fun extrapolation game, therefore over the entire country in all major metropolitan areas, I'm not standing directly exactly next to it, but they're not exactly new, right? It's a huge rollout, so they've had to put these up all over the place, and they had to start some time ago. Otherwise, it wouldn't already be this advanced. And the thing I can't get past is that, right, that the network's just getting started up. They're just getting the technology figured out. There's still a bunch of problems with phones overheating and other issues, and right, they make it seem like there's almost no current tech that even works properly with this level of bandwidth, right? Nothing that can truly unlock the sort of machine learning throughput. Everything needs to be reprogrammed. At least that's the story that we're given. But since these are up, wouldn't somebody be using them, right? For some purpose? It's a huge build out. And they're just sitting there, they're ready to go, ready to be used. But, right, at the same time, we have nothing even remotely close to the consumer grade level that can support this protocol. I mean, I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? Two of those things don't compute. Oh, I miss my old bumper. That was on my other computer. It's totally just lost to the wind. I can't transfer it to the other version. I Resolve with the splash thing. Maybe I'll try to get that back. But I always had the date wrong. Right. So I was just talking to Snafu Snaps. He's obviously an awesome dude, and just talking about all this kind of stuff. And I'm realizing, like, in order to stay sane, this show itself may take a slight or massive production value hit. But I think it's better to just come on here and show you whatever I've got, whatever I have in the moment, as opposed to not doing it. Because then I just sort of wistfully wish, hey, what's going on, you know? And it's not even about the followers and about, you know, getting a million people listening. It's honestly, I think, just to get the wheels turning a tiny bit, because that's just what's going on left and right. Everybody's wheels have stopped turning. They just input information, and you know, I'm sort of getting past all the big grand agendas that there's some big, you know, boardroom of lizard people getting together and making these horrible things. Well, I mean, definitely a big portion of that is true as well, but I'm much more on this trip now of, right, things just coalescing together in some sort of like non-logical physical manifestation, that things just sort of happen. That there's logical gaps all over the place when you really start to think about it, especially in the things that you read. And that's when you realize if you're sucking down all this media nonstop, it's a thought process. It's a way of brain operation. And, right, whatever you consume, you know, whether it's just your relationships with your family or loved ones, or the relationship you have with media and entertainment, you're just going to reflect whatever you pull down from there. So, I mean, right? Brain fog. I got that brain fog. Well, and I've been pushing my brain to the max, revving it to 1,000%, and it's, you know, it's probably not healthy. Probably gotta shorten my life. But you justify it, right? You make it. It's part of the cause. It's worth it for the cause. But just for my general life, yeah, I want to continue to question things. I want to look up in the sky and be like, those are interesting clouds. I mean, it's sort of beautiful sky. But as long as you look a little closer, strange things start to develop. Parallel lines, and you start to sort of, right? And I used to think this was legit, just insanity people status. That you would think that anything like this up here is a UFO or some sort of airship. That just sounds like something a crazy person would say, but here I am saying it. I want to entertain the possibility because, right, when you see all the logical gaps all over other places, that really isn't that far of a leap to be like, yeah, no, that's another sort of race, like an overlord race. They don't interact with us very much, but yeah, no, they own that whole part of airspace and just travel in those airships. And yeah, I guess maybe it's high enough away from the other planes or something. That's what I always wonder, like, how do they work that out with FAA if they have a bunch of cloaked ships everywhere? Can they just fly through the cloaked ships? And it's all these things, not just numbers. It's the shapes, the symbols, but I guess all of those reduced down to numbers. You realize how much of things are numbers. Well, I mean, what else is an octagon other than a representation of 8 on a flat plane? The simplest possible one. And it's all mixed up together. That's the thing. You have to try to not forget to appreciate beauty. I know I tend to when I'm getting sucked into quote unquote real life. That's another key thing that you forget to take time to even just check out that tree. I don't have time for that. I gotta write some emails. Don't look at the tree. I'm like staring at my phone the whole time I'm in the park. Right, and I guess that's never really what I've been around any sort of actual, I'm not a meteorologist, sort of grand cloud analysis. Yeah, we got some cool little wispy guys. What I did notice, though, mostly here in Germany, is that there's obviously more cloud cover because it's just a different location than Los Angeles. But that still doesn't mean they can't sneak in behind and get those trails going, get some good trails going. It almost works a lot better because they're mixed in with, whatever else is going on up here, airships, artificial sorts of strange things, right? And this is nothing new. I think for people that watch weird sky things, they understand what's going on here, but I don't know, it hits me home again then to see weird stuff on YouTube and then to just be out there in the real world would put my head up just for a second and to see similar things. You're like, okay, right? What? It's like a horseshoe shaped. Is it reflecting this you? I mean, that's what I mean. Like how sort of magical and strangely iterative is this reality? Because it definitely seems beyond my grasp by a large amount, and right, again, by extrapolation, is just out of grasp of a lot of people. Not saying I'm like smarter or better than anybody, but right, Quantum Unconscious made another good point that, like, right, if us people that are here thinking about this kind of stuff all the time can't make heads or tails of it, or can sort of feel the outline, do you expect some inbred, ultra-rich, pampered, drug addict people to be able to consider and figure out these things, the quote-unquote nobility of this world? I'm not sure if they're that on the ball. Like, they're probably also too busy watching Netflix and doing drugs to code 33 into every single possible little nook and cranny of public life and much less your private life. because I started, you started to go a little crazy. You're like, is somebody following me? Are they changing the numbers on me? Right? You get these paranoid fantasies going, and that's again, right. This whole truth-seeking thing is not for the faint of heart or for the fragile, because I think it can definitely induce some strange psychological tendencies in people that, yeah, basically aren't ready for bending their brains that hard, and right. I felt the effects of that as well. But at the same time, right, it's just a blurred picture taken in passing. But I have to question why do the stairs go up all the time, all over Europe? Anything built, I don't want to give it a real date, but it's got to be like at least 1950 or so. Anything built before that just honestly does not seem to have been built at the current ground level. Everywhere. It's and right. I think it ties up with all these words and politics and all this sort of format of thinking to get you to not even, right. You're gonna have cognitive dissonance there. But if somebody comes up to you and you're not initiated into any of this thinking, and you say, "Hey, isn't it weird that no steps are like ground level anywhere on this continent?" Most people will say, "What are you talking about? Who cares? Did you see Netflix?" But this has like, right? It's right there out there in plain sight. That has some serious implication. Like, what? It couldn't have been, right, some new sea level changes. I mean, right? We're talking about the ground. We're talking about the ground being on a totally different level for most of these buildings. That's not how you built that window in the first place. Halfway into the floor. Like, it'd be really hard to do that too. Think about it for a second. And right, I've been taking mental pictures. These are only two examples that I have for you right now, but it is really honestly front to back. It doesn't really matter. Unless it's a newer building, then it will be built at ground level, and you'll have a nice modern-looking door facing right from the floor. But everything else, either it steps up or it steps down. Step up, step down. I guess they made a choice back then. Do you want to feel powerful? Well, you got to go step up. Do you want to do some shady things in the basement? Not see people? Step down. And now it's so normal, right? It's part of New York. It's part of the entire world. And right, but there's something fishy going on here, right? I can't shake it. I can't shake the feeling, and maybe it's the YouTube programming and other people inserting those thoughts into my brains. But once that thought is in there, I just can't wrestle it free. Why? What for? Poor K. Like, and how is it so uniform all over this world? At least in this, western part that I've experienced. How? Anyways, what's up? What's up, CJ? Serious? Yeah, I wasn't looking at the chat for a second. It's good to see you. It's good to see all of you people, and I think that's sort of my plan. This is not hyper focused. I got some news articles. I got maybe some other things I could show you. But it is also almost 1:30 in the morning, and I have to get up in a couple hours. So I'm probably going to call that a show for today. But right, why not try and use my brain, like just mildly. And I'm not saying, right, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm using my brain nonstop. It's revving. It is sort of melting out. I'm pulling these 12-hour days, just doing some, don't really want to get into it, but very highly technical work. And that's different than what I'm doing right now, sitting here trying to think of something to say that might actually, I don't know, be interesting to me and you. Because then I sit and think for a second, like the emoji, like mud flood, hand on chin. Interesting. Can't really find a good explanation for any of that. The more I read, the more I listen, the more I see, the more convinced I am that there's something weird going on with the steps. But it's the steps, right? You go in the steps every day, and then you go out the steps, and you use the steps all the time. And people do their whole lives and never even, I don't know, think about it for 1 second. And I guess I'm here to say, no, that's not a waste of time. That's not a waste of your energy. Like, if it's only even for 5 minutes, just I think it's good for your brain. Just think about it for a second, and don't just tell me what Rachel Maddow told you, but tell me like it was your idea. I mean, nothing against Rachel Maddow, but right? Doesn't that happen to you all the time? It happens to me all the time where I read the article. I saw that article because it got pushed out so hard. And then somebody comes up to you like, dude, did you know that honeybees don't ejaculate? And I'd be like, I mean, this is a really bad example, but you know what I mean? It'll be about politics or something. I'll be like, yeah, I know that guy is a dick. Just like that article said, I agree with you agreeing with the status quo, and we're all agreed. No. Everything, you gotta just like check it again. Check these steps again. Maybe there's a normal explanation for that. Maybe over and over and over again in different locations. Yeah. I just don't know. Yeah. Now I'm gonna do right what is gonna be annoying in the replay and come over to the chat again and be like, I'm glad you guys are here, and it's good to feel missed, and I missed you guys too, and that's definitely a truth, that even though I'm working and doing other things, I'm definitely, I got my mind on the 5G, the 33, and you guys, because I don't know, we got something going here, and I got plans with Snafu. You gotta just, it's a battle every single day to keep your brain moving, just to keep it jogging along, and don't, right? I think I made I think I got it to this point enough. You're not going to get it from those apps with the brain jogging thing. That's not how you get your mind working. Yeah, so definitely going to bring you guys some more Tartaria mud flood related things, because that's just it honestly is all over the continent here, and man, I got all these articles because I keep thinking of things, and I read the article and I was like, man, I gotta bring this up on the show. Damn it. Why aren't I doing the show? Like, I should do the show, and then a million other things come. But just as like just to make sure everything's working. Oh, I got my cam working too. Right? I'm here. I'm a real person. These are my hands moving. Like, how many fingers am I holding up? Right? It's like impossible to tell. But I'm still moving, right? My voice is not in front of the mic, and then I move back, and what am I trying to say here? Again, this show is not about ultra scripted, dense information. It's sort of the opposite. Yeah, if you want some more dense information, then there's other places that you can find that. I'm just gonna chill on that. So just as a goodbye story here, I thought this was interesting that right, it's come to light that SIM cards themselves, the things that actually give you your number to the phone, you put it in your phone. If you don't know what a SIM card is, that's kind of weird. But it turns out that they can just send you a text. The text goes into your phone without you getting a notification, and then it pings back the person that did the attack, and then it's not like they've rooted your device, but then they can send things from your phone without you noticing, and then also get all your info and stuff and anything that's stored on the SIM, and that it's like basically ultra easy. And that the best part is that I just like this phrase, device agnostic, because it doesn't matter if you have the newest iPhone and any sort of like mega fingerprint, super cool, two-step scanner thing. Like, none of that matters, because they can just jack your SIM, and it's crazy easy. It's been crazy easy for, I guess, since they made SIM cards in the first place quite a long time ago. And there's no sort of super plan to patch any of this. And in the story, they make it seem like it's just a, isolated incident, not a big deal. It's mostly Middle East, North Africa, so don't trip out. But right, if one small firm is using this exploit, what are the chances that it's just out there everywhere in any sort of mildly powerful organization, anything from a corporation to a government agency, would have this capability, and that you too could, probably for not that much money, also gain this capability. Just a little info security news for you. And with that, honestly, yeah, I gotta I can't believe I gotta go do some more work right now, but I'm gonna go do that. And as always, keep it real. Do cool stuff with your life that you actually want to do, not stuff that other people are telling you to do. And I don't know, question the nature of consciousness. And I'm gonna be back like soon. But actually this time, I miss you guys. Production value. Zoomed images. See, even that is just it takes effort. I had to click some buttons and make those, what's it called? Dynamic zoom. And choose the type of dynamic zoom. Just more data points flowing through my mind. And sure, it's cool to have dynamic zoom, but what's the goal here? What are we trying to do? What is the plan? Anyways, no, legit, now I'm going. Where's that button? Later. I'll catch you guys real soon.